I have visited 43 states in 13 countries, 43 states and 13 countries, and I think when we finally compiled all the information for my impact report at the end of my year, I was up to 337 speaking engagements for the year. And I have to tell you, I'm nervous every time. I'm afraid every time I stand up, and while I was waiting, I'm sitting here and I'm reading over my notes because I typed out, what I thought I would say, and my fingers are getting numb. It's like really cold in here. And my nose kept getting wet. I felt like a puppy. And I looked at my phone to see the time, and I remember, on the plane, I spent a lot of time in airports, and yesterday I was in the airport for about 7 hours waiting for an update and a rebook, and I started going through my emails. I figured I'll clean out my inbox because I really don't have a lot of time to do that. And I'm going through all of my emails, and I come across an email from October 2015. And it was from Sue Pelchat. And it was right when I was announced as the Connecticut Teacher of the Year. And she just gave me some advice, her being a former Connecticut Teacher of the Year, 1997. Whoop, whoop. Oh, Connecticut. Hi. So she sent me this email, and it wasn't the words in the email. She took some pictures that she forwarded to me, and I had almost forgotten about them. And they were pictures of my students. During my announcement, it was a day that was amazing for my city. In my city, we had never had a Teacher of the Year, never mind a Connecticut Teacher of the Year. And I had a pretty good idea that I was a finalist already for national. So it was the city was so proud, the kids were so proud, and when the day ended, I don't even know why I bother to write speeches, because I never read them. When the day ended, I got footage and photos, and all of, everybody took pictures of me at the podium, and me with the students, and me posing, and I had all of these pictures of the day. And then Sue sent me some pictures. And I wasn't in any of the pictures. She sent, she sent pictures of, she said at a point in my speaking, she broke away from looking at me and looked at my students. And she saw the adoration in their faces. And she captured that. So as I'm on the plane and I'm looking at this picture, I see my students staring at me with such pride, taking full ownership of the award that I had just received. And it reminded me, that's why we do this. Sometimes you go on this incredible journey and you go all over the world just to end up right back in the same place. And it's a good place. It's a reminder why we all chose this profession. Those kids, that look in their eyes, trying to duplicate that over and over and over again. One of those boys, Camilo, who is staring at me like I'm his middle school crush in this picture, graduated a few weeks ago. When I got him as a freshman, he was a Mexican immigrant. He had only been in this country for 2 years. He spoke very little English and was so unsure of himself that he wouldn't even speak out in class. Camilo got a full scholarship to Yale University. He's gonna go and biomedical engineer, I might have made that up, but it's something super fancy. And he's going to Yale, and he came out of my school. I saw Alyssa, who questioned if she was even college material. Her mother wanted her to be a hairdresser because she thought it was a much better job opportunity, and Alyssa wanted to be a teacher so bad. And she was looking at me while I was on that stage, and Sue caught that on film. She's in college now. I'm looking at this picture, and my other student, Roberta, who did not make it at my high school, ended up going to the alternative program, said to me, it doesn't matter, because I know this isn't the end of my story. Does it matter that I have to go to the Enlightenment School? I'm going to fix it. I'm going to make it right, and I'm going to get back on track. That's why we do the work that we do. And I think it was really appropriate that I sat through the business session. No, because I think sometimes we get so far in that we forget the lens that brought us here. When I was named, actually the day I was named National Teacher of the Year, the day I was named National Teacher of the Year, like Sue said, I teach in Waterbury Public Schools. I grew up in the city of Waterbury, which is a large urban public school district, Title I district. It is a community that has a lot of challenges. Many of my students come to me after traumatic experience, and they don't believe in who they are or what they can become. I remember the morning of the announcement, I was going to go on CBS, and I was in a suite at the La Parker Meridian in downtown Manhattan, the nicest hotel I've ever stayed in. And I started getting all these phone calls and all these tweets and all these updates, and I opened my phone and I was devastated by what I saw. It said that I had been named the National Teacher of the Year. It talked about my district, but it didn't say anything about my teaching. It said that I grew up in a poor community. It said that I was the child of an addict. It said that I got pregnant as a teenager and almost dropped out of school, and nothing about my teaching. And I share that with you today because when I saw that, I was crippled. I began to sob, and I said, I don't want to do this. But then I realized that my truth is the truth of all of those students at my school. And if I'm saying that something is wrong with me, then I'm saying that something is wrong with them. And I went out and I did the interview with CBS, and I did all of the interviews that were arranged for me for that day. And I think it's important to say that here to you today, because your truth is the truth of so many teachers, so many young professionals who think that they are operating in a silo, who think that they're doing this alone. I can't imagine what my career would have looked like if I had been exposed to this type of a group 1 or 2 years in. I shut my door and I worked one-on-one with kids for 10 years. I took them out in the community all by myself and taught them to be good citizens, to be good stewards. I taught them not to complain, and if they saw a problem, that they had to become a part of the solution. Could you imagine what I could have done 30,000 strong?